I honestly don't remember a lot of it. I that entire episode was a blur for me for the most part. I think it was pretty traumatic.
Hey guys, I'm Travis Cronin, Entertainment Director at Us Weekly, and you're watching Drag Us Weekly, the show where we drag the truth, the wants, the wishes, the fears, and the hopes out of your favorite drag queens. Today we are joined by Grand Rapids' finest, Michigan native, Miss Orion Story. Thank you for being with us today.
That's me. Thank you for having me.
That sure is you. Now, we're actually calling because of your car's lapse in warranty, and we need to talk to you about that as well.
Hang up and try again.
Okay, sounds good.
Out of service. We forgot to pay our bill.
Well, Orion, you've had such an emotional time on Drag Race. I mean, how was it watching it back for you? There was a lot of emotion spilling out for you while you were there. Do you think the workroom really brings that out of you?
I think just being on the show brings it out of you, honestly. You know, it was a pretty rough time. It was a really rough time, but I think through the experience of Drag Race, it really has helped me get past that.
Yeah, I do. And watching it back was sort of the hardest for you to watch emotionally, if anything stood out to you.
I think the hardest part watching it back is just seeing how hurt I was. And just wanting to go back and simultaneously slap myself in the face and also give myself a big hug.
Yes, I do. And you have such a unique sense of style. You said that your mother was a part of it. How do you feel watching your style back, how it expressed you, where you're from, your family ancestry, all of that?
I think there was definitely some times on the runway I was like, yeah, it's a little crunchy, but I think I always just really wanted to make sure that I stayed true to myself, just in the aspect of, people might not understand it. They might not get it or like it, but I like it, my mushroom look, I thought might be one that people either get it or they don't. And, I just, if people don't like it, I don't care. It was more for me, I'm really proud of that look. I spent so much time on it. And I think those things are, always references to things that I've been really inspired by. That in particular was inspired by Mars Attacks, which is one of my favorite movies ever. And, I wanted to just kind of with each, look and everything that I did, wanted to pay a little homage to things that have really inspired me over the years.
I think it's so true for a queen just to stay true to her own style and sort of block everything out, because no one does you better than you. And that really showed. What do you think, if anything, Drag Race elevated your performance, your personality, anything? How do you think Drag Race elevated you as a drag performer or person?
Literally every single aspect. I think now I am better at planning things out. I pay more attention to details. I have been taking a lot of the critiques now, watching it back. I'm like, yeah, I definitely needed to edit some things, but also just kind of figuring out who I am. It's because I think you go on Drag Race and it's you have this idea of who you are, but then you learn a lot about yourself through the experience that really kind of changes things for you. And you see things differently. It's you view yourself and you view your drag differently.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing at all. I think it's more good than bad, because it's, you look back and you're like, okay, this is what I can work on. It's it's an opportunity to grow.
And that is a great thing. What things do you feel like you grew in while you were at Drag Race? What parts of yourself do you feel flourished the best while you were there?
I think through the experience, I definitely learned to just be more vulnerable, more open. You know, I think I went on the show just really guarded. And I think I had a lot that, you know, I was dealing with. And a lot of things I just like, you know, wanted to talk about or just open up that I just didn't know how, or just, I think that was the thing for me, was just, you know, I had numbed myself for so long that I really just wanted to learn how to just feel my emotions, you know, just like express it. Like the Drag Race was the first time I cried in like 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. It felt so good.
Wow, that's incredible. You must have been holding so much in for 5 years. Did you do any work on yourself when you got home after that? Did you seek therapy, friends, just sort of have talks with yourself in your brain?
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly just been a lot of like self-reflection. I think I got off the show and I felt really just kind of defeated a little bit. I felt like I let a lot of people down. I think I let myself down, like my mom down. And I just really, I think, you know, after that, really, I think more recently, I've been more just kind of like, you know, everything happens for a reason. I'm a big believer about that. So I think, you know, my experience happening the way that it did, I think happened the way that it did for a reason, you know? So I think that, and also just, you know, talking to a lot of other girls like that have been on the show before, like, and them giving you advice and stuff, it puts things in perspective, you know, because it's like you start viewing things differently, and you really come off just really like with a new perspective, you know? And I think that's the takeaway from Drag Race, that, you know, even people who are just watching the show is, you know, I think you watch people on the show that you relate to, and like, it helps you kind of figure out stuff about yourself, you know? And I think that's the great thing about Drag Race, is it really just, you know, I've gotten, well, first of all, I've gotten so many messages of people saying like, you've inspired me so much, like opening up about your story and this and that. Like, it's really gratifying to, you know that just, you know, being on the show and being yourself really helps inspire other people.
Yeah, I know your story touched so many people because a lot of people have that same experience. Just thank you for being able to share that with others. It's such a powerful way to remember everything bad that's happened in your life.
Yeah.
And I want to get to the lip sync because it was epic. You guys were both giving it your all. I just want to know what you were thinking up there, what was going on through your head, because that was high voltage everything.
Oh my God. Not a lot was going through my head. It's, you know, when you are standing there getting ready to lip sync, you just kind of go on autopilot. And I just remember, like, I remember before the lip sync, I just kind of was at a point where I wasn't really giving up. I remember telling George, just like, you know, this is yours. Like, I'm still going to try. I'm still going to fight. But I think I would have felt worse sending her home at that moment. Just, you know, I felt like she at that point had more to offer than I did, you know, and I remember like just the lip sync starting and just like my stuff falling off. And I just remember my bunny ears falling off and just looking at Ruth's face, just like watch him hit the ground. And I was like, oh, I gotta fight. Like, I just gotta give it, you know, cause it was rough. I was, you know, I went in like fully, let's just do it. You know, I honestly don't remember a lot of it. That entire episode was a blur for me for the most part. I think it was pretty dramatic.
It was very dramatic. Your energy was so fun to watch. And my last question is just, how do fans support you? What do you have going on? How can they buy your merch, follow you, see your shows? Tell everyone out there how to support the, you know, continuation of Orion's story.
Yeah. All my socials are the Orion story. I'm going to, you know, start posting more YouTube videos and TikToks. So definitely, you know, follow and stay tuned on there. I've got merch on my website, theorionstory.com. My Instagram is really a good place to find everything, because I usually post about everything on there, or Twitter. So, just stay engaged. And I have a lot of fun stuff planned.
Great, Orion. Well, I loved watching you. Thank you for your talent and your vulnerability, and we can't wait to see you soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye.